Hold the door for today's Nerdist news and spoilers, guys. So many Game of Thrones spoilers. Last night, tragedy struck the world of Westeros in a way that we've never before experienced. Hodor, the only consistent source of joy and goodness in the realm, was literally ripped to pieces by creepy skeleton hands as he fulfilled his apparent destiny, holding a f***ing door. Behind this door are a bunch of skeleton spoilers, so if you don't want to get touched, close the door and don't look back, because we're getting deep into last night's episode and the future of the series. Yes, last night we learned more about how time travel works in the world of the show, and as it turns out, we were 100% right. Just as we predicted a couple weeks back, the timeline on Game of Thrones is fixed. Like the Raven said, the ink is dry, which means that while Bran can clearly affect the past, anything he accomplishes is something that's already happened in this world. It's a closed loop, which is kind of confusing. I'm not totally sure how that works, but it does. So how did that play into what happened to Hodor exactly? Bran has two abilities that we've seen: warging, aka controlling the body of something or someone else, and green sight, the ability to look into and apparently interact with the past. By using his powers in tandem, looking into the past while warging into someone in the present, we saw Hodor's brain collapse as a psychic link formed between his present and future, allowing him to hear things he wouldn't have experienced for decades. So yeah, poor Willis lived his entire life as a monosyllabic oaf just so he could eventually die to save a kid who misused his powers. But what does Bran's newfound ability to change the past say about the future of Game of Thrones? Things are clearly ramping up for a grand finale, a big knockdown, drag-out war with the White Walkers, so which events in Westerosi history might Bran have also been responsible for, and how can he use his powers to save the realm? Well, first off, there's a pretty good chance that everything we've seen happen on Game of Thrones so far has been Bran's fault. Thanks, Bran, ya dick. But how? Well, let's think back to the Mad King Aerys Targaryen. His insanity, he had a penchant for burning people to death left and right, led to Robert Baratheon waging war and taking the throne, which led to the War of Five Kings, which led to Joffrey ruling, which led to Tyrion shooting his dad while he pooped, yada 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 yada, you get it. Now we know that during his last days, the Mad King liked to just mutter, "burn them all," over and over again. The show has made a point of telling us this, and you know who also liked to mutter the same phrase over and over again? Yeah, Hodor. But Bran can't warg into the Mad King in the present, linking his mind through time and driving him mad, which means that either Bran can affect history by straight up warging into people in the past and controlling them manually, possibly still driving them nuts, or, as many, including us, have speculated, it was the Three-Eyed Raven who accidentally drove Aerys mad, which is why he was so insistent that Bran never interact with the past. Either way, we can guess that burn them all was supposed to be in regards to the White Walkers, not the friends and relatives of all of our favorite Game of Thrones characters. Whoopsie! Bran. But if the Three-Eyed Raven knows that messing with the past is bad juju, then why did he clearly encourage Bran to warg Hodor into madness? He absolutely knew what would happen, and this just moments after saying that Bran would have to become the new him. What did you know, Three-Eyed Rave, and why did you have to die before telling us? Characters are just so damn bad at communicating on this show. Everything would be so much easier if you all were just freaking honest. So on to the big theory. So as of last night, we know the secret origins of not just Hodor, but the White Walkers themselves. That's right, we now know for sure that it was the elf-like children of the forest who created the big zombified baddies by sliding chunks of dragon glass into their hearts. Sort of like a reverse Kalima. They did it to defeat the first men who are wrecking their lands and killing them off left and right, so they created a weapon. The weapon somehow went rogue, and it's been out there continuing its mission, killing all humans and creating an undead army of whites for thousands and thousands of years. With the werewood tree gone and the Three-Eyed Raven gone, and for all we know the last of the children of the forest gone, there's nobody guiding Bran anymore. So how can he use his abilities to save humanity from the White Walkers when their threat stretches back literal eons? And how might it tie into the revelation that time is a flat circle on Game of Thrones? Well, how about this other little tidbit? Bran just got marked by the Night's King, linking them psychically somehow in what appears to be almost exactly the same way that Voldemort marked Harry Potter.
Wicked.
With the two linked through both time and physical space, would it be possible for Bran to somehow look into the past before the Night's King became a White Walker, when he was rumored to be none other than Brandon the Builder Stark, the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch and an ancestor to old Bran, and warg into his present White Walker form, sending a message back in time that causes the White Walkers to finally relent in the present. I guess then we'd have to wonder why the Night's King didn't always act like a chill dude, though. So maybe Bran will incept an idea into the Night's King's head. Something like Daenerys Targaryen is the true queen, which would mean that once the NK sees her in the present, he might pledge fealty and lead the White Walkers back behind the wall forever, proving that the only way to stop war is through peace. This would be a pretty huge beat for, say, the final fleeting moments of the imminent war to come. Could this be how Bran saves the world? But what do you guys think? Will Bran warg the Night's King to stop the White Walkers? Will he somehow screw up history even more and just make things worse before Daenerys has to swoop in with her dragons to burn those ice zombies up? Will Tormund, Giantsbane, and Brienne of Tarth do that nasty or what? I will stay tuned in to see that. Let's discuss. And I'm sure you guys noticed our set is a little different. Don't worry, it is only temporary because we're doing a little construction here at Nerdist, and I can't say what it's for, but it's gonna be awesome. Dan?
Yeah?
You guys did a full Game of Thrones discussion over at All Kings Considered,
Oh,
didn't
you better believe it, Jess. You better believe it. Hold the door because we have all your Game of Thrones spoilers. You can find it on Facebook. We had Roth Cornett, the senior editor over at HitFix. We had Alicia Lutz, our managing editor and resident Khaleesi. It was awesome. We broke down all the big moments. We get super spoilery, so if you haven't seen the episode yet, don't watch us. Watch the episode first, otherwise you're gonna have a bad time.
Interesting, awesome, great. And special thanks to our buddies over at Overwatch, the new team-based shooter developed by Blizzard, where you can choose one of 21 heroes, each with their own extraordinary powers and abilities. So if you're looking to cycle through cyborg ninjas, tank transforming robots, futuristic gunslingers, and a genius genetically engineered gorilla every time you respawn, grab a copy of Overwatch on May 24th, available on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. And thanks for sponsoring us here at Nerdist Overwatch.
I always thought of myself as kind of a young genius gorilla.
Me too, oddly enough.
That's bananas. Okay, sorry.